Hey, greetings everybody. How you doing? Much love to everyone. Happy Africa Day to you. Happy Africa Day to me. Happy Africa Day to all of us. Welcome to Living My Best Life in Ghana. Yes, this is a beautiful day. Our ancestors are walking with us. We are in collaboration with bringing all the greatness out of each other as African people. We are walking hand in hand, arm in arm. We are joining together to create a great unified Africa. We are Africa. Africa is us. What a beautiful day to be African and to know that it is up to us to express the power that we have. I hope y'all had a great and productive day today. I surely did. Got some things done, and I'm feeling good about that. My accomplishments are really going all the way up, and I'm getting things done around here, getting these things packed up. It is a must that I get home to Mama Africa. It is a must. I don't know what these Pink Panthers and these other folks have planned or what they plan on doing with each other, to each other. I really don't give a damn. I really am focused on getting home. Home is where the buffaloes, the elephants, and great African people belong and roam. And I'm looking forward to being able to get home and country hop on my way back there. This has been an awesome dream of ours. I've been fantasizing about this for so long, to be able to go home, to see many, many countries. And I think now the time has come. The time has come. It ain't no I think to it. The things are really lining up for us to get our country hop on. And I hope many, many, many of us are thinking the same way. Some of us are country hopping by default. From the airlines that we choose, we stopping in a couple of African countries anyway with some nice layovers. I'm looking forward to those extra countries that country hop to too. This is very positive. What they meant for bad always turn out for greatness for African people. And I'm just glad to have the wherewithal and the know-how to make things happen no matter what it is, in spite of negativity that's always going on. We can create the positive change that we need. Okay? So what's up, everybody? This is a beautiful day. We got some more info. Make sure y'all get your Africa pad out, pen and paper, taking notes. We got some extra inside information, and yeah, I got a little some up my sleeve, and I just want y'all to have all your pen and papers ready. Okay, it's very important you take notes. We've been dropping them gems all the time. Today is not any different. Y'all make sure you have your Africa workbook or your book with all your notes in it, all your goodies, your tips, your gems, everything. Write it in a book. Who knows? You might be able to print that book one day after you add something else to it. Okay? But get excited. Get ready right now for your journey. I've been asking a lot of my folks here to go ahead and start your YouTube channel. Okay, it's very important to go ahead and start your channel right now. Let our people see you in your abnormal atmosphere in Babylon. Because that's what it is. As we work our way to the norm, which is Africa, peace, and freedom. And it's time for us to get excited about that, because I know we got a great thing going, baby. Yes, so let me see who we got up in here. Hetepu, peace unto you, LIMBLIG family. Bliss be. Much love. I can always depend on Bliss B to come on up with something, or it just the room feel good off the top. Just as many of all of us always coming in with the positivity, the love, the admiration, the honorable, the accountability. We are making sure that we are dedicated to being loyal to our family here at LIMBLIG. It's very important for us to be loyal to each other because we building the Africans that we always wanted to be, had desire to be. We always knew we were capable of. Now we are building those people, and I'm just excited about that. I'm excited about us being in unification with one another. I'm excited about us integrating with one another. I'm excited about us partnering and collectivizing with one another. Virginia Harris, good evening, LIMBLIG family. Much love to you, Virginia, auntie out of California, and her husband and her daughter, my cousin. All right. Blind guy, his wife, and their life. Aquaba, African people, love and light to you. Aquaba, Aquaba, Aquaba. Welcome, 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 everybody. Caribou, okay? You are welcome here this evening. Red, gold, and green. Hello, Job family. Yo. Greetings, red, gold, and green. Miss Grace said, Quaba family, tonight is going to be exciting and full of information as usual. You know it, Auntie. Yes, Aquaba, welcome. Becoming my I said evening, LIMBLIG family. Did you smash the like button on your way in? Okay. Becoming my eye. Truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, harmony, balance, and divine order. If we follow these 7 principles or laws, we will be straight as African people. We just have to apply them in our lives every day with each other and with each African that we are involved in. We want to change our lives. We want to do it collectively together, and that's what we're doing. So, Madase, becoming my eye, Aquaba, Karibu, to many, many, many of you all. Sawabona. Yes, Jackie C said, Aquaba, LIMBLIG family. Hey, Jackie, much love to you. Felicia Brown said, greetings, beautiful African family. Peace and love to you all. Yes, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Balanta Queen. Aquaba, beautiful African family. Entertain. Yeah, Nausawe. Hugs to all the kings and queens in the chat. Y'all better just come on. Marty Mark said, hello, Africans. Much love to you, Marty Mark. Good to have you here. Kofi Azuma. Greetings to power and future. Much love. Much love to you, Kofi. Already to start me laughing. T. Roy, salute Queen Future. Hey, T. Roy, bam to my brother. All my other brothers here, much love to y'all. African kings and queens in the house. T. Roy said, Aquaba, beautiful African people. Yes, and we sending that love out to you and receiving it just as well. Greetings to all the brothers and sisters in the house. Yes, smash that like button, family. Come on in. Get ready. Queen Dacha love. Yes, red, gold, and green. Much love to you. I appreciate you. I have missed a few of these shows here. You ain't missed nothing. Zenobia said, Aquaba to my beautiful family and love and greetings to you, Queen Future. Hey, Zenobia. Much love to you. Baby Joker said, yo. Hey, baby Joker. I am planning on going to the Mother Gunner next year. Yes, and Mother Gunner gonna be waiting on you to get there. That's for sure. Bambalaye. Greetings to everyone from the Prince of Manding Empire, aka Mali Empire. Yes. Al Ningbara. Mandinka greetings. Okay. Al Ningbara. All right. I like that, Bamba. Yes. Much love to you. Usam, Troy and family. Yo. Red, gold, and green. I believe our ancestors are here on this platform to support this movement. Yes. Annette Lewis says, greetings, kings and queens. Greetings, my love. Annette is in the house. Yes, everyone is speaking. Queen Nomad is in the house. Hey, Queen. Hi, everyone. I've been missing the evening lives. I am able to pop in and like doing the lunch live. Hope you all are well. We missed you. We realized that you wasn't here, but we glad that you are back. Thank you so much. Auntie Wendy Noble said, blessings, my gorgeous niece and beautiful family. We are one. Yes, we are. Corey B said, pieces, LIMBLIG family. Glad to be with you all straight from New Jersey in the house. Corey B. MWH Boutique. Greetings, everyone. Much love to you. Maud Kelly, Awakening, Peace and Blessings, LIMBLIG family. Blessings, Queen Future. Much love to you, Maud. No problem. Your guidance always protecting Mama Africa and her children. Yes. No matter what, you got to remain calm and remain focused. Okay? We have got to do that. Yes, I am up in here tonight with much love, Kofi said. Yes, some African names, ladies. Cebu, Cebu, Jara, Tida, Matida, Jainaba, Sukulung, Buya, Tongbong, File, Fanta, Janka, Jankai, Jankai, Jambanding, Natoma, and Sunka. Go on, Bambalaye. I appreciate this. You are really blessing us and pushing this African language out into the energy. We need it and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Continue. Christina, Nanati to Dream. Hello, family. Hey, Christina. Much love to you. Aquapa, welcome back. Y'all will never let us down. That's the absolute truth. Red, gold, and green. Never have and never will. Live now, live free. Aquapa family, peace, love, and harmony to everyone. Ain't that something? That's a statement within a statement. Live now, live free, peace, love, and harmony to everyone. Happy Thursday. 7 days to Tanzania. Black Karen now Shiro is about to make her debut in TZ. Makidada. Hello all in Aquaba to the new family members. Yes. Yes, Aquaba to all of our new family. We appreciate you. Here we are building African families stretching all across the whole globe. And we're going home to Africa for the biggest family reunions you could ever imagine. So stick and stay. Make sure you go back into the archives, watch the videos, subscribe to the videos, comment on the videos, and please share the videos. This really helps us out in our statistics, okay? Appreciate y'all. Just do that for us. That's good enough, okay? Save 3131 said, good African kings and queens. Missed the live today, but catching up right now. Yes, Save 3131. Now, Kwaba. Together we can build one Africa, one love. Yes, we are doing it right now. Good night, all. The savvy entrepreneur is here. Yes. Awesome. Like, what's happening? I'm from Louisiana, Auntie. Our slang sounds a little different. Okay, what's up? All right, I got you. What's up? Okay. Thank you, Nye. Choosy P. Greetings, all. Blessed love to you. What's up, my sister? It was an honor. It's an honor and a pleasure. Okay. Much love to you. Welcome back. Baby Joker, she said, oh, Sam. Okay. We gonna get it right. No problem. Yeah. So we are talking about inside information that our people need to take the fear out of filing for your passport. There are still a lot of us that have not filed for our passports for many, many different reasons, because the main reason being is we are afraid. Okay, some of us have a past situations that we have had to face, you know what I'm saying? And some of us have had some innocent situations that turned into a crisis for us that we had to face, and we had to deal with it the best way we can, or we was dealt the hands that we were dealt to deal with it. Okay, so we just did it really, really, really realize that we are, our past is our past, and it's something that we have to learn and grow from in experience. It's important for us to not feel totally messed up or bad of things that have happened to us, that have occurred, that, that we did not have anything in our control, but have been made to feel ashamed or embarrassed about. We need to heal from these situations so that it will not stagnate us into making certain decisions and certain steps for ourselves as we move forward and getting ourselves ready, preparing ourselves 100%, getting ourselves back home to the land of our ancestors. Okay. And a lot of times we are so fearful that we don't even make the attempt to do things like this, something as like a passport. For some people, it seems like it's something difficult. For others, it seems like it's something that is overwhelming for some reason. Okay, we definitely take notice too. We have been faced with a lot of things in our lives, and it ain't been no peaches and cream over here. It ain't been no peaches and cream. Okay. And the mind cannot teach what the mind do not know. So when we were in the dark and we were bamboozled and brainwashed and suffering from mental slavery, a lot of us were not able to make proper decisions for ourselves and certain people that we were responsible for at the time. But it was only because this has been by design for us to fail. Okay, it's been by design for us not to, succeed in certain realms of our lives and certain levels that we go through. You know what I'm saying? It's already been pandemic. Okay, it's a pandemic for us not to make it. Okay, but we as African people, we have always been a very strong people. We've always been able to overcome adversities. We've always been able to learn from our mistakes, learn to forgive ourselves in different situations all together to create wholesome, brand new, healed, and repaired Africans that's looking forward to working with one another for our future and for our future generations to come. Okay. And that's why we are doing this live tonight, because we have to be encouraged. We have to encourage others to be encouraged. Okay. It's we falling off on each other. You know what I'm saying? We bouncing off one another just like a brand new basketball. Well, we got to bounce off each other. Okay. So if the ball falls in your court, then throw the ball back to me, okay? And if the ball fall in my court, I'm gonna throw the ball back to one of y'all. I know, and I'm gonna trust and know that you're gonna do the same thing, because these are times that we have got to be certain that we as African people have got to stick together. Okay, we done tried it every other way, and that has not worked for us because we so thoughtful, we so giving, we show humility. We think everybody carries the same thing, and we are not made of the same cloth. We're not. Everybody's not made the way an African person is made. No, an African spirit, a person that manifests themselves as God right here on earth as future, a person that manifests their self right here on earth as Eminem Motors, TSP Cocktail, Africa, Red, Gold, and Green, Queen Goddess, 100, Angie Stay Woke, Larry Wilson, Bamba, Baby Joker, Choose It P, everybody. It's not Savvy Entrepreneur, Save 3131. We are God's manifested as our title, as our person, as our spirit. And it's going to be up to us to exercise the power that we really have, because we are no longer asleep. We are no longer that sleeping giant of people that's unifying together. We woke. Okay, a phenomenon has occurred and somebody meant it for our bad, but it actually worked out in our behalf because we were focused to not only analyze ourselves, we are focused to analyze each other and realize that we really like this. We really are these people. Then it's okay. It's great. It's a step toward the positive. It's a step toward us doing the right thing. It's a step toward us of greatness, even more greatness. And we already got the evidence. We got the blueprint. A lot of us have the skills, the trades. We ain't got to reinvent nothing. We just got to go for what we know. Okay? If we did all of this under stress, just think about what we gonna do for Mama Africa when we experience freedom, peace. Okay? What are we going to do for ourselves? We got something to smile about. When we are in tune and in sync with our ancestors that's leading us and guiding us, they have called us to come home in a mighty way. Tens of millions of African people have decided to let go, to release ourselves from the matrix. The time has showed us that it is our time. It's African people time. It is time for African people to go home. It's time for us to think, sleep, eat Africa. Okay? This is nation time. This is us. It's time for us to recognize what we are to each other. And I think we are doing a great job right here at Living My Best Life in Ghana because we take relationships wholeheartedly, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to continue to do so no matter what. Yeah, we might have come across a couple of bad apples in the barrels, but we'll just throw them out and keep on moving. Okay? The main thing for us to do is to recognize that we not needing and wanting for nothing but Africa. Okay, we not needing and wanting for nobody else's culture, nobody else's whatever they doing, whatever they think they got, they have to offer us. We don't need none of it. We just need each other. We just need our Mama Africa, and we going home to position ourselves, to plant our feet just like seeds in the ground. Okay, we're going home to walk the walk and talk and make actions. We're not going home to play. Yeah, we're going to smile along the way. We're going to hug on each other. We're going to call each other on the phone. We're going to meet. We're going to plan, plot, and strategize. But at the same time, we're going to get this job done. We're going to get this work done. And that's what I look forward to. That's what I look forward to no matter what, no matter come what may. I still look forward to when all of us get home. Tens of millions of Africans to start by next year, 2021. I see so many people playing, 2021, 2020, 2021, 2021. Not even to talk about the ones that's already there, the ones that said it was this year, okay, the ones that said it was last year, the year of return, the ones that's been there before then, the ones that's been there since I got there, they was there 25 years. We already been doing this. We ain't nothing but some pioneers for generations and generations. We are the DNA of our ancestors. We walk around with 4,094 ancestors in us. That's guiding us. That's looking forward to what we're doing. Okay, let me keep going. All right. Okay, everyone should learn the NKO script all the way from West Africa. You can find it on YouTube. It's spoken and written. Let's not forget the manuscripts at Timbuktu. It's ours. Thank you, Bamalaya. Leah. Yes, one family from different parents from the motherland. Yes. Thank you now. I see you, sister. I see you. Larry Wilson of Quaba family. What's up, Larry Wilson? And just stay woke. Shalom, African kings and queens. Much love to you. Queen Goddess 100 said, glad to be in the house tonight with my LIMBLIG family. Much love and one love, everybody. Yes, family, please remember to smash the like button and share. Greetings, that's Red, Gold, and Green. Africa said, greetings, fam. Sign of the Times, New Year's Eve concert, 1987 Prince. That was the jam. YT Premier, TSP Cocktail, Eminem Motors said, Doom along, my African people. Greetings, Justine. Greetings, Sunshine Bannerman. We should not cut from the same cloth, baby. Hey, Jaja Jacket C said, that's right. We have to stick together, AG. Yes. Hi, Jaja. Audrey said. Larry Wilson said a nation and taught me the game as a young man many years ago. Gone, Larry. S. Jones said, hey, fam. I hope I didn't miss too much. You right on time. All right. All right. All right. New Hollywood said, preach. The savvy entrepreneur said, facts. Doing things on our own way is the way of the past. We have to squad up and do this together. 1+1 does not equal 2 anymore. It's now 5. We can accomplish way more together. Yes, we can. Absolutely. Eminem Motors said. My joy. Keisha said, family, how's everybody? Yes. And Audrey is talking to Bamba. Yes. Thank you so much for the name options because of your input. I found a name that fits my personality. Thank you. Corey B said, teach Sister Future. I see the God on you. Kaseke Shange. All right. Into Kake Shange. Thank you, savvy entrepreneur. Speak it into existence. Preach, Queen. My joy, everybody. Everywhere I go, I speak about it now. Planting seeds and other Black people, you can see the light come on in people's eyes when you bring up moving to Africa. That's right, Bliss B. Africa said a protest still going on in Kentucky. My people, get out of that state right now. Hi, family. Stephanie Pope is in the house. Sawubona, y'all. Miss Minnesota Pop 1. Yes, Sawubona, big sis and Pete Miscellaneous said. All right, now we are going to go straight into this right now. I have a very special guest that's going to tell us some inside information that we need to know about our passports because I want my people to be liberated and feel free to get home to Africa. So with no further ado, I'll just call her passports. Come on in here. Hey, sis.
Hey, Kuaba.
Yo, I said for being here. We appreciate you for your information
No
because
problem.
we know that you can provide us intricate details and facts that we need to know to take this fear out of our people so they can file for their passport. And why is it best to file for it right now? We want to talk about it. So
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Okay, so we
Okay, you blanked out.
I was just leaving the football game and my son was trying to call me to find me, but he'll call my sister. She's also in there. So
Okay.
so right now is the perfect time to file for passports because right now we had actually caught up from the 5 million that we were behind. So right now we are in the queue about 1 million. I think it's 1.2 million right now. So the reason why I say right now is the perfect time is because no one, not only is not anyone traveling right now, but they don't really predict for anyone to be traveling at least for the next year. And so with that being said, right now is the time to apply for them so that you have your application already in the midst, right? So the passport agency is in what's called a phase. We're going into a phase 2 right now. So, just like everyone else, there are 3 phases. We just got to phase 1 about a week ago. Now we're into phase 2, but they're also cutting and laying off a lot of workers because they don't plan on anyone traveling anytime soon. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But the reason why right now is the perfect time to apply is because no one is applying, and by the time this summer comes, everybody's gonna try to get it all at one time.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that the perfect time to file is now, because at first they were telling people that it's going to take 6 months before they receive their passport, but
Hmm.
you guys are actually processing passports more faster, more quicker.
Yeah, we
And
are actually processing them quicker because well, mainly because we don't have, okay, so basically we ship some off, right? So we ship some out to San Francisco because we sorry, people are getting in the car. So we shipped some off to San Francisco, and when those had got out to San Francisco, that lightened the load at our agency. Okay. So from that point, that allowed us to work all the new applications that we're processing through our center. So basically saying the quicker you apply right now, the quicker you are, the odds of you getting your passport between now and January are very high because no one is applying and they don't expect anyone to be traveling between now and next year sometime.
so you're saying that they are actually laying off people that work for the passport office because they're not thinking that people are going to travel, or maybe they have some plan that they're going to make sure that people won't travel. I mean, because it just seems really weird to me because people are tired of being stuck in one place, and people normally travel during all the holidays that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it seems very odd that they would think that people wouldn't travel when actually this is like the most travel time of the year that's coming up. So it's really something to think about, especially as a world traveler, as someone that travels back and forth and lives in Africa all the time and moves around. It's like never a dull moment from what I see when it comes to traveling, but because of the scare and the fear that a lot of people are not in movement right now, and there's a lot of people that have lost their jobs, and different things are affecting us in so many different ways. We're seeing a rush of families being put out of their homes and being evicted out of apartments all over the U.S. due to this pandemic that's taking away a whole lot of jobs and a lot of job security for so many people. So it's very important to look at this thing from all sides on why, you know, it sounds so suspect to us, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But at the same time, on a good note, for our people that are so afraid to fill out the passports or thinking that they're not going to get their passports back in time, you're saying that this is the best time for them to fill out for their passports.
Absolutely. I think right now is the best time. I myself am actually, had I not been
Okay, you broke out. Okay, I think she's moving right now. And we'll bring her back when she comes back. Okay.
What's up, people?
Power is in the house, y'all. Say hey to Power.
What's up? What's up? I'm just jumping in here.
Okay, here she
hello,
comes. Okay, you back. I think you broke out. You might be moving or something.
hello.
Can you hear us? Okay, she'll try back again. All right. So we're gonna keep it moving. Um, when sister come back.
What's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? I'm up in here in the kitchen doing my thing for a little while earlier.
Better add 'em.
Okay, there we
All
go.
right,
There
we
we
hear
go.
Okay,
you.
sorry about that. Um, where were we at?
I was just mentioning that this actually is the best time for people to file because they were so fearful that they wouldn't get their passports back in time.
Right. Yeah. So the passports are definitely going to come back. Even though they cut the staff in half, actually today is the start of the second layoff. So I actually got a text message from my supervisor. If it wasn't for me actually leaving the agency because I wanted to switch into a different career path, um, I made it past the first cut, and then I ended up getting hired on with the school. So I am happy about that because that was going to happen regardless. But, I have quite a few, friends up there who, really are my friends. And I feel really bad that now, as of today, October, well, actually, today we got the text. And then October the 1st is the next, is the next drop off for people who will get their notification on not being able to work there any longer. But they are still processing the passports though, because one reason was funding, right? And the other reason was social distancing. In certain offices, they just don't have enough space in order to keep all those people and be able to keep them healthy by keeping the social distancing. So,
Wow. Oh, they're really going all the way with this thing. I mean, it's like uh it's affecting so-called economy. It's
mhm.
affecting people's ability to care for their family, themselves when they thought they had job security. It's really just showing us that this is really breaking down. Babylon is falling, that we really should be taking advantage of this time. They're gathering up all of our coins, our gems, uh closing off all of these loose ends and getting ourselves back home to Africa, because the best time to file for your passports is right now. Now, there's a lot of people that has fear for their past different charges of felons and all of that kind of stuff. Can you please tell our family that as far as no matter what has gone on in your past, that you can still uh, more than likely receive a passport, and normally that the passport office will work in their behalf to make sure that you receive it.
Absolutely. So, pertaining to the background of anybody who thinks that they may have any issues obtaining a passport because of whatever criminal background, I still
Can you speak
support.
up just a little bit because you sound far away?
Uh oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So, regardless of what the person's background is, I've always been the type of person that says that, no is not no until they actually tell you no. So, I'm not afraid to apply. I tell people don't be afraid to apply because you just don't know. The only thing that will stop somebody from traveling, they're probably going to already know, which is they may have a hold on their passport due to like a parole officer or something like that, like somebody, which whatever it was that they knew that they would not be able to get their passport. Most of the time they already know. The questions that I normally get most of the time are going to be about and child support. That's what I get most of the time. Most of the
Oh,
time it's
yes.
men, but there have been some cases of women as well. And so I had a couple people who had inboxed me about some of their issues and some of the things that they had going on in their lives. I'm talking about cases that range all the way back to 15 years, where let's say, for example, they had a child, they didn't know about the child, right? And then all of a sudden, the child is 15 years old, and the mom wants to get a DNA test, and she tested, several different people, and well, guess what? This man didn't find out he had a child until the child was 15 years old. And then guess what happened? They came back and hit him with a lot of money in child support.
Oh,
So
how's that even right?
isn't that crazy? I was like,
That's
no,
crazy.
sir, that is not right. But my advice at the end of the day, when it comes to those type of situations, if
Yeah.
anybody that you know is behind on child support, let's just start looking at the numbers at that point. So if they're behind like $12,000, and you know that it's going to take longer to fight it and it's going to hold up your life, I always say, see if you can get a loan, like a small loan through some type of bank or something, right? Because at
Right.
least if you pay it off, you can pay the child support off and then pay on the loan, because the interest rate on that on the child support when you owe the state is sometimes just as much as the child support. So you talking about
Mm.
$10,000 worth of interest on a $12,000 balance. It's not right.
Ooh, that's insane. That's insane.
It is. And I've looked at these cases, and these cases are ridiculous. I'm like, stop letting the state get you. Go ahead and see if you apply for a loan, just tell them, hey, look, I want to pay this off, right? And then if you have any issues with child support after that, at least your interest rate is not going to be a markup of about 30% interest on like a $12,000 loan. So at least you'll
Right.
owe the bank and you'll get a personal loan, and the interest rate will be somewhere less than 7%, depending on your credit score. That those things, those small factors go in there as well. So um, I
Right.
would say that if you just really are serious about just getting out of the country and traveling back to Africa, and being a part of the movement, then definitely go and see what you can do to pay it off. If you feel like you don't owe that money, right? I told a guy, I was like, you know what? Pay it off. Hire an attorney. It's worth it. It's worth your sanity to get out of this situation, and then hire an attorney to fight
Right.
for you, because it's worth it. I mean, we're talking about our lives here. Like, we can't afford to even waste another 6 months in this place. I mean, think of what we're about to come up against with this election and all of that.
Yes, it's gonna be insane. So it's definitely gonna be a madhouse, something nobody's ever seen before.
Is it any reason that you have seen that anybody would not receive their passport? Or you breaking up too?
Yeah,
You just
I'm
started
sorry.
doing it.
Hold on. Yeah, I have seen situations where someone didn't receive their passport. I want to say the best situation is tax. If you owe any money to the IRS, you will get a letter. Um, let's see, tax, child support, and extreme situations on criminal things. Like, if you can't travel, trust me, you're going to be able to know that you're not going to be able to travel. It's that type of thing is not a secret. But I will tell you this: filing for your passport. Okay, so in the state that I'm in, if you owe more than $2,500 in child support, you will not get your passport. Now, the best situation to take care of that is going to be go in, paying $500, and put yourself on a payment plan uh, with the IRS or whatever. It's actually child support is what I'm talking about. So child support,
Right.
go pay the $500, get the balance underneath 2,500, and set up payments. Now that takes a process because that actually goes through our legal department, and we don't have any control over that once the file gets to where it needs to be in order for it to be released. However, it may take 3 weeks, but those are things that you might want to have to start processing now, so that when there is another opportunity to go, to Ghana, whether it be Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya, wherever, Gambia, you don't have to wait as long. So I just say start the process now. With all this stuff, no one is really traveling, but you want to just stay ahead of the game.
Okay, and say for instance for people that they don't receive their passports back smoothly because of child support or the IRS owe taxes or anything like that, if they would get a letter. We hear this
Mm-hmm.
crackling noise, but they would get a letter from the passport agency requesting certain information. So would you tell them to make sure they respond in a timely manner or something like that?
Well, okay, so the letters will go out automatically. And here's the thing, like, before you apply, I always say make sure you give more information than what they need. You'd rather give them more than to have them have to contact you through letter to get the next step. Now, that right there can take like 6 or 7 months
Okay,
because
so
the
you
system is just not made. Because, like, for example, you're going to get a letter, you're going to get a phone number. Well, that once you call that phone number that's in that letter, it goes to a voicemail. And then once you go to the voicemail, what happens is they have a team of people who work on the voicemails, and then they call you. and they say, hey, we need this, this, and this, and go ahead and send it back. But there's a process to the passports, right? So anything that comes to the office actually has to go through security first, right? So it goes through Virginia before it even gets to any other state for security purposes, like anthrax or bombs or anything like that. So all of that stuff has to go through a security situation before it actually comes back to the office.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
the reason why it takes so long.
Okay.
Okay. So the reason why people should, anybody that has had cases or felonies and they're cleared or the case was dropped, they have that paperwork. You recommended that they go ahead and send the paperwork with their passport application.
Yes, send all that stuff. You rather give them too much because if you have a felony, you already know we're gonna know about it. So uh you'd rather just present the information instead of being, being asked to present it, I guess, in so many different ways. You don't want us to have to contact you. You have all the control from the get-go. Give everything, because what you don't give, we're going to ask for.
So you know that the passport process for a person that has to provide more information is going to prolong their ability to get their passport back in a timely manner or as fast as they will actually get it at first.
Yes. So
Okay.
let me give you an example. So some issues that we have in a passport office is, and this is actually pretty interesting to me, is one thing is, let's say for example you were born by a midwife, and you um for whatever reason, this happens a lot to people over the age of 50. So a lot of the baby boomers, when midwives was the thing, it was, people just didn't couldn't afford to go to hospitals, or they preferred midwives for whatever reason, right? So one thing that we run into a lot for people over the age of 50 is tracking down their birth certificates from a midwife that has been flagged as providing false documentation for the births of people from, like, i.e. Mexico, any different type of country in Africa, and those people have come over here and had their children, and the government knows that they've been flagged. So it's one or two things: if they don't trust that person, then what happens next is you have to be able to prove that you were born in the United States. Well, how do you prove that when you can't get a hold of your birth certificate, right? So they start digging up things like, you have to prove who you are. So if you have a yearbook of you when you were in grade school, and you got to make a photocopy of that, or you have to provide your birth or your baptism certification, certificate. Um, because those are actually legal documents according to the states, right? Because if you were baptized in a church that provided that type of certification, that is actual proof that you were there. Pictures, newspaper clippings, awards that you've won that has ever been posted in any type of public media, all of that's going to prove. And then what they will do is they will run back and they will make sure, okay, well, who's your mom? Who's your dad? All social media platforms. Let me just put this out there. All social media platforms are ran. If your Facebook is public, you will get searched on Facebook. If your Instagram is public, it will be looked up. Every bit of your, if first of all, I don't even know why anybody's would be public, for one, especially if you're using it for personal reasons. If it's open, trust me, they're gonna look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody go and make your Facebook page private right now, please.
I don't have one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever Googled your own name, but Google your name. Google your
Mm-hmm.
own name. You will be surprised the stuff that comes up. Anytime you've ever made a page on Pinterest, or what's this other one? If you've ever tweeted and you've tweeted, like, let's say you was at a football game and you tweeted something, all of that's coming back. You put your just Google search your own name, and your address comes up. I mean, it's disgusting, the information out there. Everybody, we just have to be careful the information that we put out there, because they use all of that
Mm-hmm.
to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha said, what are some instances in which a person's passport is flagged? And have you had instances where people are held up at the airport?
Well, I wouldn't know too much about the airport situation. The only thing that will hold you up is if your passport had been expired, maybe by, like, let's say for example, um, if somebody, let's say their passport expires within 3 months, right? And if their passport expires within 3 months, but the country that they're going to requires at least 6 months of validity on the passport, you will not be traveling anywhere. Um, there are certain cases where you can actually in maps. There are some cases where you can actually have two different passports, because there are companies, companies that are like, if they're doing business, like let's say it's like ExxonMobil or Shell or something like that. If they're doing business in like North Korea, South Korea, um, then what happens is you can't travel within those two countries within 3 months of each other, because then things start looking a little fishy. So those people are able to get letters from their employers basically saying, hey, we need an additional passport. I got it. We need an additional passport because they have some type of business, so they get extra passports basically saying that they have it. That extra passport may only be for 1 year or to 5 years. It just depends on who they work for and how high they are up in that company.
Okay. So how does renewing your passport work for a person that passport has expired? How would they go about renewing it? Can they do it online or they have to go into the post office?
So if your passport has, first of all, I suggest do not let your passport expire, because if you let your passport expire, then you have to apply with a DS11. And the DS11 is for people who've never had passports before, or are, oh, I'm sorry, a DS, no, hold on, let me see. So
DS10?
DS11 is,
Okay.
no, it's an 82. So there are two different passport applications. There's DS11 and then there's a DS82. And so the DS11 is for people who have applied, um, or I'm sorry, have not applied. So if it's your child's first passport, that's what they're going to fill. If it's your first passport, you're going to fill out a DS11. And so if you're renewing and it has not expired, you're going to fill out a DS82. If it has expired, you have to fill out a DS11. And then you have to present all the documentation over again. Now,
With
let's
your
say, for
old
example, you
passport.
lose your passport. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Let's say if you lose your passport, regardless of whether if it's expired or not, there is one way around it. Of course, the United States passport is the highest level of identification and is accepted basically everywhere. So the only way to get around that is to pay for a file search. And file searches are $150 plus the $110 for the adult passport book. And by the way, I know this is something that a lot of people always wonder about. There is no price difference between the large book and the normal book. It's the same. 52 pages
Okay.
is just as much as the normal passport. Some people, it's just a preference because they don't want it to be so thick. But if you travel a lot, you need all of those pages in there so that you don't have to get, another passport because you travel so much. But yeah, so DS82, if it has not expired, that's the renewal. The DS11 is if it has expired or it's your first time applying.
Okay. But the people that their passport is not expired, when they reapply, are they able to apply online or they still have to go before a U.S. passport office? I
So
mean,
they
postal office.
so right now, the offices are only accepting appointments only, and they're only accepting a certain many of those appointments. So it's 40 appointments, 2 days a week. That's going to be on Monday and Thursdays. However, also keep in mind that if you're traveling and you just realize that your passport is about to expire, that could be considered an emergency situation. I'm supposed to keep you can I'm sorry, I lost train of thought. My sister was talking to me.
You said, uh,
Um,
you said,
so
just
go
like
ahead.
somebody passport had inspired, or if they were getting ready to travel or something. Is that what you were saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so you could, that could be considered emergency situation, but I always say when you buy your ticket, make sure that you're getting the insurance on the ticket so that you can move it around. Because if the passport agency or the agent, um, the adjudicator that you talk to decides that it's not an emergency and they may make you wait a week or two to get it, it'll be overnighted once it's been processed. If they decide, that it's not an emergency, then you still have to move your ticket around. You rather pay the insurance from the jump of like what, less than $100 than to pay another 600 to move your ticket around. So the appointments are 40 appointments per day, Monday and Thursday. And
Okay.
then on those days, you have to go online to make the appointment. Now, keep in mind that those appointments you're also fighting those appointments with other people who have, like, I'm not going to say it's more important than what you got going on, but they're like pilots or people in the health field that's traveling to different countries to help with the COVID outbreak or something like that. So they have priority over like somebody like the big oil companies. I hate to just name drop or whatever, but uh, that'll be perfect examples of people who would get the appointments before you. It wouldn't surprise me. I haven't seen this, but it wouldn't surprise me if they actually kicked someone off, kicked you off the appointment to put in someone who's considered to be um, more of an emergency than what you are. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Corey
but
B want to know if he renewed his passport today, would it be realistic to get it back by December?
absolutely. I definitely think so. Yeah. But see, the
Okay.
thing is, you don't even really know where your passport is going to be, but you can call, because there are people in the office. We are just not open to the public unless it's on a Monday or Thursday. So people are still in the office working the back office side.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hmm.
All right. And what exactly can you just name off what people will actually need when filling out for their passports, like the documents that are like basic that everybody normally needs?
Of course, the most important is going to be a picture of your ID. Make sure that you have the copy of the front and the back. Don't just do the front. That's another thing. They want the front and the back of any document that you put. It doesn't even matter if the back side matters. Doesn't even matter if it's just a strip on the back end of that. They want it. So front and back copies of your ID, original copies of the birth certificate, social security cards. But most importantly, if you're applying for a child that's under the age of 16, you have to um, have a piece of paper that's notarized. And here's the thing: if the child is under the age of 16, you have to have both parents. I don't care if daddy is locked up or mom is locked up in prison. You have to have them get a photocopy of the prison ID or work release, whatever the situation is. You have to have a copy of it. Otherwise, you have to have custody of the child. If you have custody of the child, turn it down, sir. If you have custody of the child, then you have to get that documentation. It has to be the original or certified copy of the letter for custody. Some people, there's a difference between custody and then like parental rights. So of course parental rights are hardly ever um,
Enforced.
right, because the parent basically has to have done something really extreme in order for their parental rights to be taken away from them. Just period. But
Okay.
for the most part, it's always going to be custody arrangements.
Okay. And for any reason, just say for instance, somebody like their child parent, one of the parents is not in their lives or something like that, is there any other form that y'all accept if you can't track down the father or the mother, or the grandparents have custody of the children? Or I know you accept
So
custody papers, but there any other way you can prove that you all will accept it?
Yeah. So one thing is you have to be able to prove. Now, those type of cases are going to take a little bit longer, but for those type of cases, you're going to have to prove that you tried to reach out to that particular person, right? So, the strangest case that I've seen with that is there was a couple that had been divorced or whatever, and they were just so at each other's neck that they couldn't even have a drop off location like for the kids. Like they would have to meet up like the police station and stuff like that. Well, there is a third party involved. And so that third party means like, because they couldn't believe what anybody said. They were like, oh no, he said, she said, and he wasn't there, or she didn't show up, and all this other stuff. So what happened is they had got a third party involved, which is I don't even remember the name of the company. I guess that's not important. So what they would do is they would log in to this system, and they would write notes, and then that type of communication was the father or the mother both had to communicate through the system so that they could document the things that they were saying. So let's say, for example, the dad went to go meet the mom, but the mom didn't show up and she had the kids, and so he would have to go in and he would have to log into the system and write notes and say she didn't show up. That message would actually go to the third party, and they are like the filter between, right? So then the mom, if she said she showed up but he was late, those type of breaks in their stories, which is what made the other one look crazy in court and stuff like that. And so my point in saying that is the documentation from that system, because it was documented, was proof. So this lady would log on to the system, and then once she logged onto the system, she would prove that she tried to reach out to the father, and she would put messages in there, hey, are you gonna come get the kids this weekend? And nothing. He never logged into the system ever. And the lady who actually filters those messages for them, she uh, basically, she was like, she's right, the guy never showed up. um, I haven't heard from him. He has never responded to any of the messages once I've had tried to reach out to her. And she used that as proof of he just disappeared. And so she was able to get her kids' passport based on the inconsistency of the father from the beginning. And then um, he never responded. So there was just everything. The guy just really messed up, and at that point I don't even think he even cared.
Okay. So what is needed for an adopted child 11 or 1 year old?
I don't understand your question. I'm sorry.
Like what document? Is it adoption papers, or if a child is adopted by someone, and
Oh yeah.
is that what you would need? Would that be sufficient?
Well, you're gonna need the core documents. It's really actually not even that complicated. Once you have fully adopted the child, you just bring the court paperwork, right? That's gonna be your best friend for anything to do with that child. Um, Now there is other stranger situations. For example, oh, you just reminded me of something there was a case that I had. Okay, this was the case. So the mother didn't have custody, the father didn't have custody, but the grandmother had temporary custody, and technically the kids were in state custody, but they were staying with the grandparents, and the grandparents wanted to travel. I want to say it was like to Europe somewhere, and but she didn't have custody of the children. She had kind of like temporary custody, but she wanted to take her grandchildren to on vacation with her and her husband. They were gonna be, this family. But in order for her to prove, just to get the passports for the kids, they didn't even give her a 1 year. Those like kids' passports last for 5 years, but because she only had temporary custody, they had to give her the passport based on whatever the court letter said, which did not exceed, I want to say it was like 6 months, because they were in a temporary placement or whatever. So that was a strange situation. So passports are not usually, granted. Like, I mean, in very rare cases can you get a 3-month passport. I mean, nobody's really going to take it. It's normally a 6-month thing, but they had custody arrangements until a certain time. So she had to get the case manager to write a letter to the passport agency, and of course they had to be certified and all that stuff. Well, actually, that particular case, it had to be original. So there are different, I mean, types of, and things are so crazy out here, y'all. Some of the stuff that I see that comes across my desk, like for example, I had a guy, well, these two guys were from somewhere in Japan. They came to the United States, adopted a child. However, he was married to a man, and so now passports reflect, when it used to be mother and father, it's now father and father, or mother and mother. So they can, and then we deal with a lot of transgender stuff. So for people who are transgender and they want to change the sex because they've had, whatever type of modifications done to their bodies so that they can feel like they are in the headspace that they want to be in, they have to get letters from their doctors to say that, and two doctors, not only just their physician who performed the surgery, but also the therapist, that they have to see, the what they call the psychologist that they have to see. They actually have to go through this whole rigmarole about, you know, are you sure you want to do this, and basically making sure they're in the headspace. But from what I can tell, a lot of people regret that anyway. But that's another story for another day.
Yes, that's so crazy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
A sister, Maki Dada said, so your child, if they're 16 or older, they don't need to have the signature or permission from the parent for a passport.
They need the permission from one parent at the age of 16. So mom can just, whoever has custody of them, or if mom's not in the picture, if dad's not in the picture, you just don't have to make it as much effort, because in certain states, kids at the age of 16 can be charged with a crime, can be charged as an adult. So I know that was kind of side note, but in my head I translate all of these things. But in my opinion, that's the reason why. But at the same time, they are children at the age of 16 in certain states are considered adults, which therefore means they can be charged as adults if they were to ever get into trouble. So at the age of 16, that's correct. You do not have to have both parents. You can only have one.
Okay. Blind guy, his wife, their life said, do they need their marriage certificate if both spouses have their own birth certificate, IDs, and their kids' birth certificates showing the same two spouses as the parents?
Yes, you need, I don't care how many times you've been married. If you have been married and divorced, you better give them that paperwork. I don't care if you remarried, because if all your documents, and that's actually a great question, because if as a woman and you have changed your last name, we even have some cases where men change their last name to their wife's last name, right? But
Right.
in that case, basically what happens is all your documentation has to match. If your social security doesn't match your driver's license, you have issues. They're going to either do one or two things. They're either going to make you change it and you won't get it, or they're going to make you or they're going to give it to you under your other name.
Oh,
Yeah, and some people don't like that, because you're going to give them your birth certificate, and if you've been married, clearly the last name is not going to be the same.
right.
So that's the biggest issue. They're like, okay, well, that's fine. If you're married, just prove it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ebony Riley wants to know, are there any exceptions if you do not have a birth certificate?
No, ma'am. I mean, the only exception is what we had talked about before, which was you have to prove that you were raised in the U.S., and that is by the like the newspaper clippings, the birth announce, or not the birth announcement, but yeah, there are some, in some cases, birth announcement, baptism certifications, because like I said, those are considered legal documents. If you've been baptized by a church, they gave you a
Ain't
certificate
that
of
some
that
shit?
baptism.
Ain't nothing federal about them.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Connie
because
said,
in
can
a
someone,
state church is supposed to be separate. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stop
Connie
lying to
said,
us.
can someone convicted of a felony get a passport?
Absolutely. Like we said before, there's very few felonies that actually keep you from traveling. Um, if you are committing like some international money laundering type of stuff, yeah, they're gonna keep you from traveling. But we talking about stuff like murder and maybe you got a felony charge and serve some time over robbery or whatever it is. Those type of felonies, okay, they're a bit iffy. But that felonies, absolutely not. That's not going to be an issue. You shouldn't worry about that. However, again, never be afraid to hear no. I mean, you'd rather lose. First of all, let me just tell you this. Even if you do apply and they deny, you get your money back.
But tell them
But
how to do it.
you have to do it within 3 months. So what it is if they send you a letter and they say, hey, we need documentation of this and this, you have 3 months to respond to that letter. If you don't, your money is lost. But you have to just call the number and be like, hey, look, you know what? Because applying is just saying, hey, I want my passport. And then they say, oh, okay, no, well, we're not going to give it to you because of this. I said, okay, well, you know what? Never mind. I want to retract it. I don't even want to. Just send me my money back. But you have to
Oh,
respond within that time frame. Otherwise, they keep the money, and they don't play
does it
about
have
that.
to
I'm
be
talking about
written?
to the T. You better write down. Huh?
Does it have to be a written notice?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Does it have to be
Yes,
a written notice?
because you want to. Yes, it has to be a written notice because there's no other way for you to prove, and you always want to leave that paper trail too. So you'd rather,
Okay.
in my opinion, um, you'd rather lose what 110 plus whatever fees, like $35 fees if you actually go into the agency, than to just sit up there and think that you're not going to get your passport, right? You want to make sure that it's really a no, and then you just apply to get it back. Just send them a letter to get your money back.
So basically, if that happens where a person can't provide the if they know they're not going to be able to provide the paperwork that the passport office is asking for, they need to just write a letter saying that they want a full refund
Yep.
until they're able to acquire that paperwork.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just ask for your refund. And
Uh,
that letter, make sure you keep copies of everything you send, because it doesn't. Emails too, there'll be some emails on there too because they go through those emails as well when they pull up those apps. um, you want to make sure that you keep a paper trail because look, let's say the 3 months pass by, right, and you did everything. Well, how you gonna prove it? you
right.
know how you gonna prove it if you didn't cc yourself, or cc whoever in the email, whoever needs to know about that, or kept a copy of the letter that you sent off to them as well. So it all just, I say, like I say, give them too much from the get-go. Never be afraid to hear no, and all small little things can be fixed. Some people just lazy. Some people are
Mm-hmm.
just lazy and they don't want to jump through those hoops. But come on, weigh the options, weigh the benefit of actually jumping through those hoops and being able to get your passport for 10 years.
Annette Lewis said her passport expires in 2 years. She need more pages. Will she have to apply for a new passport?
No, actually, she would just, since her passport is still active, then you're just getting an additional.
Pages.
So yeah, you just, well, see, they used to do additional pages because back in the day they used to sew. When I first got hired there, they showed us like the old passport. It's so crazy because the history of the passport is like it, and it's kind of crazy. So women would get their passports, and guess what? If she had children, all her children were on the same passport. So they would take the whole family picture, and dad would have his own passport. Isn't that
What?
crazy?
Yes, that's wild.
Yeah. So we're looking
Damn.
at these old passports. So anyway, back to what she was asking. So if she needs additional pages, what she'll do is she'll send in her book and just say she needs another book to replace that one. And I want to say, now I forgot the chart. Oh, I forgot the fee on that one. I have to look that one up. I forgot because I haven't done one of those in so long.
Okay.
But what happened was they used to sew in like another book, I guess, if that makes sense. So they would you would keep it and then they would
Mm-hmm.
put an extra one around it, and that joint would be so thick. Um, but
Little novel.
it does. That thing be so thick. But now they just give you another book, and then they deactivate the one. But you have to make sure that you send the other book in so that it can be hole
Ten
punched
close.
and the foil be
Ten,
deactivated,
come.
the chip or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. What about people with child support felonies? I know people who say they can't get their passport because of back child support they owe. We went over that already. Ach, Zahab. So you have to go back and watch. We want to get some more questions out before sis have to get off. Do you know anything about the World Citizen Passport?
You that well no, but multiple, or is it what's this one called? Because we don't, okay, that's another thing we don't do at our office. We don't do any of like the government passports, the red passports for like the military or the federal people who travel. We don't deal with any of that. There is an office in the city where I work, but that, I want to say there's two offices. One is on a military base, and then the other one is not very far from us. Like, I mean, it's very close by. But those are special cases, and they're not, to my understanding, they're not as busy. But yeah, other than that, no, we don't deal with any of that stuff.
Okay. So, say for instance, a person has a charge and the charge is dropped or whatever, but it's still showing up in a background check. If they send in paperwork saying if they able to go and retrieve that paperwork, you recommend they just go ahead and send that paperwork with their passport application.
Yep. Like I said, you rather give it to them because they're gonna know about it. So it being on your background really doesn't mean anything. I mean, the only thing that's gonna keep you from um going is if you on parole. See, probation is different. It's really all about parole. If you on parole and they say nope, you ain't going nowhere, because some people who are on parole, here's the trick part, like some people who are on parole, they're still on parole, all they have to do is get permission to travel, you
Right.
know. So
Mm-hmm.
you can, if you're on parole, you just be like, hey, I want to travel, for 1 month. And they talk to their supervisors. You get everything in writing. Don't you leave one detail untouched. Every time
Mm-hmm.
you talk to that person, you create an email file with just communications between you and that person. You and their supervisor, like your parole officer, their supervisor, and their supervisor. Because when it comes down to it, that's the only way you can prove, right? And then you keep communication with them, because there's no way that they can actually supervise you if you are not in the country.
Okay.
And for
Uh,
people, it's so funny because for people, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to make sure you get all scenarios out.
So for people who are on parole, somebody had asked me this. They were like, can I just up and go? I mean, what are they gonna do? I was like, well, if you're on parole but they haven't blocked your passport, I mean, if you're ready to jump, I mean, by all means, do what you want to do. You just ain't gonna be able to come back to the U.S. And not be caught at the airport on your own journey. You know what I'm saying? But as far as that's concerned, you just don't want to jump into Africa, any whatever country within Africa, and just have yourself in a situation to where, like me myself, I feel like when we do move, but I have been to several countries, but I said like this, like when we do move, I feel like by the time we move, I will have winged myself into that way of life. It's people
Right.
don't understand how hard it is to just get up and move. Hell, it's hard to even move from one state to another and have to
No.
adjust. Now we talking
Right.
about another culture. We talking about the way they move, their beliefs, how slow things are. It's different. So if if you think you can do it, I mean, and that's where you're gonna be at. That's the thing. Like the U.S. never even thought about having relationships with any country in Africa, but that's where they messed up at. Because as of this point, we could do what we want to do. We can go across the border. We can do whatever we want to do. They don't even keep track. Our social security numbers are only good for the U.S. They cannot track us in another country.
Mm-hmm.
You see
See,
what I'm
that's what
saying?
people be failing to understand.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like for 50 years or so, they just went over to Africa. They stole the resources. Kept the country, kept the people in the countries poor by pulling the resources, right? And then they never even thought about making any type of system, to say, okay, well, maybe they just assumed black folks were never gonna go back. That's all I can
Oh
say.
yeah,
That's
that's
exactly
exactly
what
what
they
they
thought.
assumed.
You know
That
Okay.
was
so
it.
so I can guarantee you right now, within the next 10 years, I swear the only thing I see is them trying to build a relationship with the countries that the black folks are going to, in order, because they don't want us, because what we doing right now is we pulling our resources from the US and we building up different parts, different countries of Africa. So we gonna, within 20 years, it's gonna be like a real thing. So we taking our
Mm-hmm.
money and we're not putting it, because we spend billions of dollars. Who else is gonna spend money like we spend money in the US if we take
Nobody.
our shit over there? I'm sorry. If we take our stuff over there. This
Yeah,
we could take the whole system down from the inside out, and a lot of people can't see it, and the right people, we just can't speak upon it. So I don't want to, I know we live, so I can't really just say what I want to say
right.
about that. But yeah, I mean, we hold this thing together. Billions of
Yes,
dollars.
Yep, the thread.
right.
With the thread, the whole
So I
situation.
got another question. Christina said she applied for a passport at the post office. She did give her birth certificates and ID to them. She's also married, and was she supposed to send in her marriage certificate as well? If she
Yes,
sent in their IDs, if your IDs are changed in your marriage name, is that sufficient?
you do have to send in your marriage certificate. It doesn't even matter if you divorced, because some of that paperwork that's gonna come in is gonna have your. It don't even matter if she's still married or she's still not married. In some of that paperwork that you give is gonna have your married name on it or your maiden name on it, right? It can match your maiden name, but is it gonna match your other? Always give them too much, because, like I
Okay.
said, you don't want that letter. There wasn't something important. Oh, for the kids, this is very important. You don't want your kids' passports to get lost. So if you have more than one child, do not send in one copy of your ID. You need two copies. You need one copy for the boy, one copy for the girl. Don't think because you don't have time you will hold up the passport. So a lot of things, what we see is people have 3 or 4 children, they're applying for their passports, but they wrote on the paper with their ID on it, and the ID has said something, or it said this passport is for all 4 applications. No, ma'am, you do not want to do that. You want to make sure you make 4 copies for all 4 of your children, front and back of your ID.
Oh, wow.
Birth certificates for you and dad, make all 4 copies for each file, because essentially each child is a different file. And if we have to go track that down, um that's not gonna happen. There's no guarantee that your child's passport will stay in the same box as yours. They could be separated due to different issues. Let's say one was an adoption. Okay, well, they're different boxes. And there's like 30 applications per box when they are processing the application. So basically what happens is, let's say, here's a big this is the biggest example. Say your passport is in a box of one person who has one issue, right? Let's say they need something that they're waiting on from California, and they live in New York, and they need it, and they're waiting. Let's say she ordered her birth certificate and then she has to send it in. Well, that one issue holds up the entire batch. If your passport application is
Mm.
in that batch, you on hold.
What?
And if they decide to take it out of that batch, it may not be right away. They'll probably wait a few weeks before they take it out of that batch, before they say, okay, this person is taking too long. Let's go ahead and get these other things out, because these people are traveling within a couple of weeks.
Wow. So, the passport card, do you recommend anybody getting that card, and how long is it good for? What's the purpose of it? What's the benefit of it? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, the passport card is going to be for people who want to. Okay, so the passport card for traveling purposes is going to be for immediate traveling to some place like Mexico or Canada, right? Because
Okay.
Mexico and Canada are bordering the U.S., so therefore it means that you could cross the border with that ID, and that's going to be valid. You could cross with your passport book, but a lot of people decide to use the card because it lasts. I'm sorry. I think I want to say the card lasts for 7 years. I think the card is 7 years.
So, do you recommend somebody get both of them?
Well, it serves. It's still an important document. Let's just say, for example, you lose. Yeah. Let's say, for example, you lose your.
Book.
No, not even your book. Your regular ID. And
Okay.
sometimes when you apply for a job and they say, okay, for your I-9 form, you need to bring in proof of citizenship. Well, your passport card stands as your passport. It just can't be stamped.
Mm.
But
Oh.
pertaining to what you doing, like it's pertaining to traveling over an ocean or two, it really doesn't benefit you a lot unless you just don't want to carry your passport around, which that's neither here nor there. I mean, some people are scared to leave it, because
Yeah.
we'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave my passport in the room in the safe." Well, people can get into those safes, and once you lose it, you lose it. Then you have to go over to the U.S. embassy, and then you have to replace it. But a naive mind would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave it in the room. It's not a big deal. Nobody has a key to that room." Well, there people know you from the U.S. They'll go right in your room and take it. They ain't supposed to steal, but don't mean they're not going to. Just means that they
Hmm.
never got caught doing it. You know, type of situation. So,
So they have this thing about that you won't be able to travel without the real ID chip, the new ID, or other reason you have your passport, you'll be safe. You won't have to have that new ID that they're talking about. Do you know anything about that?
that is really just a state to state thing, but pertaining to the passport, you good to go. If you got your passport, you don't have to worry about that so much. You could travel like if you traveling domestically, then okay, they may have something to say about that if the state that you live in does not. Well, because I know certain states are out. I just don't know which state it is, but I know certain states, that they can't, or that they haven't been approved or something like. They're not trusted, basically, in so many words. They're just not trusted. But the other thing though is if you don't have that then you I mean, we're gonna check it regardless. Pertaining to the passport agency, those are checked regardless. So we have an identification book for every state's identification is in there. If they change the ID, then we get emails, like government emails or whatever that says, "Hey, um, this ID has changed. This is what you need to look for." Blah blah blah. So that's all. That's all I
Okay.
know about that.
Okay. Well, I think we asked a great amount of questions tonight, and you were so helpful. Um 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 um. Oh, I had okay. I was gonna ask about that passport card again. And this might be the
Hmm.
solution to the state deal that you're talking about. There might be an
Hmm.
extra reason why we should carry a passport card, have both of them. The
Yeah,
passport
I
card would
definitely
be
agree.
good for traveling from state to state. When they implement this real ID stuff by 2021, and the passport book will be at home or in a safe place when you're traveling around state to state. You can use your passport card.
Yeah, you can use your passport card. I mean, it's gonna be accepted. Just it's. I mean, it still stands as your passport is just a card. Like people
Okay.
use those when they go on cruises. So that's another example. If you're going on a cruise, take your passport card so that you don't have to keep, wear and tear on your passport book. Um, so that's very important, like that, because the sorry, they won't even allow you to even hop off the damn boat if you don't have a passport card or your passport.
Okay. You can't enter U.S. from the Western Hemisphere on a card. You need the book passport. Tajiri. Okay, well, this is inside information, but and you know what? It's something strange that for me early on when I first became an African traveler that a lot of people did not even know what a passport was and that it was like the highest form of identification that you could carry. That was really strange for me. Stop you.
Mhm.
To encounter people that really didn't know the value of a passport versus an ID, because in certain cases, um, I would go somewhere or had been somewhere and all I had was a passport, and somebody would be like, "What is that?" I mean, so it's still a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, after today, they will know more about passports and how it's really beneficiary for your family to invest in passports versus state IDs or, this new real ID that's coming up in 2021 because for one, y'all need to research about that real ID chip in this information age of 2021 that they're implementing to us. But also, the passport is reliable and it's also just as important or even more important than a regular any ID that you if you have your passport that you really don't have to worry about going for that new star or something they caught telling people to just go and get your star on your ID when it's really the real ID chip.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. Of course you need your driver's license, but that's neither here nor there. You, as long as you have your passport, um, or your passport card, because you can use them interchangeably with, it's proof of identification no matter where you go, what you're doing. Um, so yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, some people now some states are requiring that people have their ID, but you don't a lot of people don't know that they can opt out of it if they carry a US passport. They're not telling people that. But that real ID, I don't
Yeah.
know if certain states are really enforcing it, but a lot of people, there, most of the states, you are allowed to opt out of it if you provide your U.S. passport. You don't have to have that new star, that new ID with the star on it, which is a real ID chip.
Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened, but I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello. Okay. Maybe she have to go out and come back in. All right. Well, maybe she'll come back. But we're just about wrapping this thing up. Maryland is the middle of getting everyone complaint with that. Okay. Thank you. It's more than one way to skin a cat. Yep. You will need one other or other. You'll need a real ID chip or you'll need your passport. Great. Thanks. Okay. Say a little. All right, all right, all right. Oh, okay. Yes, we are happy to have our sister here with great information about the passport. Is it a real enemy that does not want these artificial boundaries to come down? Okay, passport card or the new ID? I was curious because I'm trying to reside in South Africa. All right, all right. Thank y'all for sharing information with one another. That's one reason. Another reason why, y'all, I said that you need to go if you can visit first instead of here's sister come back right now, instead of just waiting for 3 or 4 years to go. If you got to wait 3 or 4 years to go, you deserve to get a visit in so that you can map out or see what your options are. Okay, sis, you back? Can you hear
Yeah,
us?
I'm back. Yeah, I can hear you
I'm
now.
not going to lay down.
Okay, so authenticate your birth certificates. Have you heard of anything called authenticate your birth certificates and
Mm-mm.
challenge the child support to be written off? I'm
No,
just
but
asking.
you can challenge for your child support to be wrote off. Now,
See?
the thing about that is it actually takes a little bit longer. But again, I mean, if you know that you have a good case, now with something like that, I would definitely talk to an attorney because you want to make sure that you have a good case. And if they feel like they can win it, and you gonna only have to pay him, $3,000 versus the 30,000 you could be behind in child support. I mean, come on now. I would definitely do it. I would challenge the child support just like that guy did. In fact, not only did he challenge the child support, the back child support that was owed, I said, wait a minute, come on now, think about this. You didn't know about your child until he was it 13 or 15? One of 15.
15.
Yeah, 15, and they want to say, here you go, but you didn't, the man didn't even know he had a child. So come on, think about it. Like, I'm sorry, but not really, that you didn't know who your baby's father was until your baby was 15, or maybe you did, you was just being evil. But at the end of the day, if you didn't tell him that that was the possibility that that baby could be his, that was his son or whatever, then he don't owe you nothing. That's your own fault as a woman. That's like your own fault for not doing that. How about you start at age 15 and get your child support from age 15? Don't let that man had a whole new wife, and I don't know if he had, I don't think he had it. I don't remember. But
That's terrible.
it's not right. Like, you expect him to jump. First of all, at the age of 15, we all know what it's like for little boys at age 15. He should have been introduced to his father when he was, well, from the get-go, right?
First.
But at the end of the day, how do you walk into a 15-year-old boy's life and say, hey, I'm your father, expect to have some type of relationship? It don't work like that. I understand. Me personally, I understand. Like, I don't know how to explain it, because myself have been in a situation like this where men are not in their children's life, and then guess what happens? They build bonds with the men who are. And for me, like, my grandmother, my biological grandmother, I didn't know her until I was well into high school. And because we never lived nowhere near her, I never had a bond with her. But the lady who raised me, I cried for years after she died. And when my biological grandmother died, I didn't have one tear to shed for her. So just because that someone is not biologically yours does not mean that they never exchanged, like, energies and all that type of stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people just don't be understanding. It's important for them to be around their children at that age. But what can he do with a boy who was raised by a single mom, who was not in the best environment, and now you want him to do what with this child?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well,
Exactly.
I just appreciate you so much for being
Yes,
here.
yes,
You
yes.
have answered a whole lot of questions and gave our people a lot of insight, very helpful information. Everyone tells us to thank you so much for her insight. I'll clap for
No
you.
problem.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Jaja.
Be clapping too.
Jaja
Hey,
clapping for you
Jaja.
too.
Hey.
Yes,
All
and
right.
we
Well,
really appreciate you. That is awesome that you were able to come in here and give our people some reassurance with this information. And y'all take the information in stride, do your research. And sister, I appreciate you again. Thank you so much for being here. And you have a great rest of your evening. We
All
appreciate
right.
you so much, and sending you positive energy on your new endeavor, your job, your occupation change. I
Yes,
know you're getting
Thank
yes.
you.
ready to
Thank you.
go into a new deal, and I'm just looking forward to seeing you on the other side at our LIMBLIG family reunions.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there December for 2 weeks. So,
It's
All
going
right, you
down.
make sure you contact us because we'll be there too.
all right. Y'all take care.
All right,
Okay,
peace.
everybody says thank you so much, Sister Medai. Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
All right,
All
peace.
right. Bye bye.
Yes. Yes. So y'all, we just grateful that sister was able to come in and provide us with this information to reassure those of us that have just been too nervous, too fearful, feeling like we don't have any, that they're going to keep the passports for 6 months. They ain't going to return them for 8 months. You ain't going to have your documents for this and that. She told y'all they have caught up. Basically, they have a lot of people there that they're laying off because they're anticipating people not traveling as they
That's crazy.
normally do because they have this, they know that this has affected people mentally.
Boo game has worked.
Boo game is truly uh has taken its toll on so many, especially our older folks. My heart goes out to them because I have seen and heard of some awful, awful situations, and I think we need to have a live about that one day, so that we can counteract that with positivity and try to get our people back in conjunction with one another as far as their family members, their older family members being afraid to be around them or anybody because of the whole pandemic. Okay, lots of great information. You're welcome, sunshine and rain gardening. All right. All right, Marine Stamps. I just got in here. Somebody tell
Kofi,
me
you
when
better
it's
go
a
to bed.
family reunion. We haven't announced it yet. Kofi. Thank you, Sister Zenobia. You are so welcome. Thank you. You're
Kofi, you say I'm
welcome.
looking at you.
Power and Future, you don't look like you are feeling sleepy. I love Kofi.
Oh,
Excellent topic, Superior Carbon. Y'all, please be sure to go and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. Make sure that y'all comment on the videos. Even after the video is over, please comment. Make sure you thumbs up the video. Share them with people that you know that are afraid of getting their passport, that need this information. Ask them to watch it. And when they finish watching it, ask them to call you back so y'all can rap about it. That's some type of way that you can get them to engage them and watching the video completely so they can get their confidence up. Okay. And it's very important for us to disseminate this information with as many of those that need it, that can use it. Okay. I'm about to make some elderberry syrup right now. Hit that like button, family. We appreciate you, Superman kicking it and kicking in, and Superman kicking in the ass, kicking the ass. No, not yet, sweetheart. We're on our way. Frederick Doug says, do the opposite of what your enemy says do. That's right, the way of Yah. Start healing your body from the inside out. Get those power packs. WeBuyBlack.com/nappy by nature, spelled with an I. And we will see y'all soon. All right. All right, there it goes. The email, extra income 2019 at Yahoo. Y'all, we love y'all so much. We hope y'all have been truly affected positively by this video, about this live and this collection. We appreciate y'all. Peace and blessings, sister. You are a member of LIMBLIG. Yes. Miss
yes.
Bridget G, got it? Yes. All right, Power or Jaja?
Come on here. I'm gonna do the first part. You do the last part.
Granddaddy gonna do part of it. You
God love me.
God love you. Bye.
All right, y'all. We love y'all. Have a great night. And we're gonna hold this for a minute to catch up because we've been seeing our lives are cut off on the ends.
That's it. That's it.
Good night, everybody. Peace.
I gotta put
Okay, don't say nothing else because we got to hold out for a minute. The email, I'm sorry, email was extra income 2019 at yahoo.com. Okay, y'all just be still. Act like a picture. Y'all take our picture.